Hello, everybody. I'm literally just like sitting here chilling. Like, I just wanted to come on and chill out with y'all tonight for just a hot second. Just move that over. In case you're watching the replay, this is Lisa. I'm Lisa. Hi. And this is Heart of Inspiration. And at this channel, we help you live life in spirit. So tonight, this is going to be a little bit of a different conversation because, I wanted to take a break from a little bit from the astrology of life. And I wanted to, and the tarot and all of this. And I wanted to really just kind of get into some deep kind of feelings, um, messages, thoughts, downloads that I've been getting lately as it relates to 2020. And I've kind of steered clear of this conversation, but I really feel like it's really very much time for me to do so. So I do want to greet everyone in the chat. Hello, Amethyst. Hello, Nini Baby. Hello, Dee Dee. Hello, Esmery. Hello, lovely Libra Medium. Love that name. Love that name. Um, Lovely Libra Medium, do you have a channel? Just let me know in the chat. I'll check you out. Always can use another medium in the house. So I want y'all to, like, you see, if you're watching the video, like, I've got pillows everywhere. I've got my comfy blanket on, and it's just you and I chilling, talking tonight. Okay. So whenever you're watching this, I want you to be sure you pause it long enough to get comfortable because we're going to be talking about some uncomfortable conversations. Probably some uncomfortable things because the unknown is always uncomfortable. It's new. Okay, I'll check you out, love. Um, and if you come back, we'll probably promote you. Um, Thank you for being here. So the forecast is always like it can be a little bit iffy, right? It can be a little iffy. And for those of you that are watching, what I'm actually going to do is put up. Bear with me one second. Yeah. I want you guys to go to heartofinspiration.net or onto the Patreon page. Oh, good Lord, help me. And check that out. I did create a Patreon that is literally $1. I'm moving stuff around for those of you that are not watching. So I'm just a little distracted. I created one for $1. Hey, Keza. Because what I wanted to do was be sure that some of these things that I'm about to get into in 2020, I wanted to be sure everyone that could, had access just in case YouTube decides to kick me off. Anyway, so let's talk about 2020. Fast forward past the rest. Hope you guys stuck with me. Um, we recently I did a video about the Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto conjunction for 2020. That because Jupiter and Pluto are going to be definitely hanging around each other, definitely in Capricorn. Jupiter's in Capricorn the entire year. And Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto are going to spend a lot of time playing, in the same sandbox, which hasn't happened since 1894 BC, BCE, whichever one you wish to say. And At that point, you can go back and watch the video. At that point, that's when Babylon actually was created. The city of Babylon and then the Babylonian Empire basically started, which changed the literal face of humanity in how it was organized governmentally. And then there was a full-fledged government, socioeconomic system created based on the rules and regulations or the inspiration of the teachings of a deity, of a god. Look it up if you don't believe me. However, the Babylonian Empire did literally change the entire, it changed humanity. There have been some other major things that have happened due to a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. I believe one of those things was the Julian calendar was created. There's multiple things that happen. How we keep time is the Julian calendar. Look and see when that was. If you don't believe me, just look. 1290, 1282, 1284, somewhere in there. We're here now at 2020. A brand new decade. No one's really talking about the fact that it's a brand new decade, which freaks me out a little bit. It's this very significant number. 2020, perfect vision. If you add 20 and 20 together, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, you get 4, which is the number of life purpose. It can also be the number of, the Four of Pentacles, you think of withholding, of keeping things very close, very personal. Four of Wands is life purpose, marriage, entering into or covenant with, oh, that's good, thank you. A covenant with your soul or your soul mate or your soul purpose. Four of Swords signifying peace. Four of Cups signifying thought. Deep thought. Not a whole lot of emotion. So not a lot of energy in motion. Deep thought. This is really kind of a coming of age number. So there's a lot of varying significances with this. And with the way the planets are in transit. Am I buffering for anyone? Please let me know if I'm buffering. Although, how are you going to know? With the way that everything is in transit, right? Sorry, I was just making sure I wasn't buffering. We can expect. Am I back? Hey, Dee. Okay. Hey, Mel. And I have someone here. Evol's dog. Hello, darling. Okay. It should be okay now, guys. Give me some hearts. With the way that the planets are transiting where they're sitting and where they will be sitting for a while, we have a lot of very significant things happening. And I alluded to this during the Jupiter-Pluto discussion, but I'm going to get into it tonight. So get comfortable. We can expect, as I titled this the way I did for a very specific reason. Those of you that are probably here, those of you that are going to watch the replay, you've heard the term Indigo Child. You've probably heard the term Star Seed. You've heard this term Light Worker. All of these things, right? All of these different terminologies. And they really all point to the same type of individual, same type of being, the same spirit, type of spirit that decided to come down here and do a purpose, fulfill a purpose. And guess what? We're here. It's time. You thought the day was never going to come. Or you thought maybe you had a little bit more time. But guess what? Nope. We're here. It's time. It's time for you to step into your indigo-ness. It's time for you to step into you being a light worker. It's time for you to step into you being a star seed. It's time for you to step into being whatever the name is you wish to call yourself. It's time for you to awaken and be who you came here to be. Or at least choose. Either you're going to be who you came here to be, or you're not. And if you choose to not be, don't come to me with it. I don't want to hear about how your life just feels like it's going in the crapper. I don't want to hear about how you're so unfulfilled. I don't want to hear about how life is so difficult for you when you physically made the choice knowingly with your third dimensional limited sight and capabilities decided to say, yep, nope, I'm not in the mood. I think this is all too god darn hard and I don't want to be bothered with it no more. Now tonight that's why I said for y'all to get a little comfortable, because mama really had to sit down, auntie had to sit down and really have a conversation with you. And we got to have a family meeting. And that's what this is tonight. So if you wish to share this with other family members, feel free to do so, because it's a family meeting tonight. Now, we have Uranus will be transiting Taurus, I believe, till 2026. Pisces, interestingly enough, will be transiting, Neptune will be transiting Pisces until 2026. How interesting is that? Those two pretty much are sextiling one another. Those two together in sextile is Uranus, the higher self, the spiritual knowledge, the highest of the high, as far as the original God. Study Uranus, you guys. Study Uranus. We're actually going to start a series, because I'm starting a podcast. We did the first run on Sunday and I loved it. So I'm starting a podcast series that's going to be everywhere, and I'll make a major announcement when it's going to be up very shortly. And it's going to be Indigo Deep. And we'll do some of these podcasts. We'll put them here. We'll put them on Patreon, so on and so forth. But we need to understand who these planetary energies represent, because they're there for a reason. Uranus was the god of the gods, right? Like the Zeus, like who was the precursor to Zeus, right? He was the ish, the father of all gods. So this is the deepest spiritual knowledge that one can possess, but it is also it can be the most rebellious and the biggest upstart. And the reason for that is, if you're the ultimate creator of everything, like we say Saturn is the father teacher, that's great. However, it was Uranus that fathered Saturn and Jupiter and everybody else. So it was Uranus that started the whole thing, as the story goes. And created all with Mother Gaia, but then went a little crazy, and that's why he got kicked all the way out to the outskirts. But okay. Yeah, I'm not here to judge nobody's dysfunctional family. Hello. So Uranus being the god of gods and the upstart, and the things have to change, and we have to do something new because he created all the gods. Understand the mythology, then you can understand the energy. Uranus is trapped right now in Taurus for a while. Uranus does not like to be Taurus. But what does Taurus second house represent? Our body, our literal physical body, all the third dimensional things that we do on a daily basis, how we make our money, what our career is, our entrepreneurship, our literal, like our physical body, our getting up, our going to bed, our eating, our pooping, our all that, right? Our physical being on this third dimensional plane. You can't get any more third dimensional tied to the third dimensional plane than Taurus. You can't get any more tied to it than the fixed sign of Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus. Going, holy cannolis. Can we please, watch this, please not keep our spirit confined solely to this third dimensional body, but can we please learn to ascend and awaken and live in the duality that is our existence? I just said a whole lot, so let me repeat that slowly. Can we, Uranus is asking, can we live a dual existence as we were meant to, a spiritual existence while being tethered here, holding space in the third dimension? Because that's the only way we can have this experience, is if we remain tethered to this body, to this dimension that we chose to do this. Hear me. But if we can learn to live up there and here at the same time simultaneously, that's when we have the ability to raise the vibrational set point of this earth, which is why we came. At the end of the day, this is the reasoning on why we came. Now, what does this have to do with Pisces, with Neptune and Pisces? Well, we know what Neptune and Pisces is all about, right? That there again is very, the Neptunian, immutable water, deeply intuitive, all-knowing, God of the sea. I swear, Gemini. God of the sea, right? God of that under, right? The depth. Can we get to the depth? But the problem with the depth is that, see, this is the problem. The problem with the depth is there's illusion of what's really there and what's not. We can get lost in the ocean, in its beauty, in its tranquility, in its absolute silence, right? Because you don't really, from what I hear, there's no sound when you get to a certain depth in the ocean. There's no sound. All you have is the water surrounding you. And if that represents spirit, follow me, guys. This is literally a stream of channeled message consciousness. So if hopefully it'll come out correctly. If you follow me here, if we're supposed to be attaining the depth in the spirit realm, where there's no more third dimensional noise to stop us from being able to be one with the spirit and enveloped in, cradled in, and submersed in the spirit realm of Pisces. One could actually go a little bit mad if one only lived in that dimension, because there's no physical interaction, right? You could be lost at sea, even lost undersea, and drown because you go so far and you don't come up for air. You forget that you have a third dimensional need for air. And you also then have Uranus, though, placed over in Taurus. Saying, I need you to come up here. I need you to disrupt your normal ways of being. I need you to engage in spirit filled life, live life in spirit. But the beauty of these two planets and their juxtapositions is that because Uranus is stuck in Taurus, it reminds us that we have to stay tethered to this third dimension. What in God's green earth, Lisa, does this have to do with 2020? This is what this has to do with 2020. You have all of this. You've got the superstellium that's about to happen, personal transformation, personal learning, and then global learning and global teaching mixed with gifts, all in the superstellium, the sun coming along with it. Moving past it, there'll be an eclipse, and then there'll be a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, and then a lunar eclipse. We have a unique position and moment in time where we are being asked, do you want all the gifts that I have for you? Do you want to fully walk in your divinity and your power? Do you want to fully walk in heaven and earth at the same time? Now, a lot of people would say, gosh, what it sounds like you're talking about is like either a rapture or having a crystalline body or yada, yada, yada. I don't, guys, I'm going to tell you something. I personally have a hard time believing in the rapture, and I was taught that. And for those of y'all that don't know, look it up. It's a Christian thing. I was taught that from the bit. I mean, left behind, scared the bejeebers out of me, all this stuff. And before then, there was like radio shows that was talking to, and acted all of it out, and you was scared. Okay, scared. However, I cannot, I then, as I got older, began to say, why in the world would God just take everyone that knew of him, and walked with him away from the earth? For what purpose? And it's kind of the same thing with this crystalline body. Is it possible? Of course. I'm not denying that we could not at some point become translated into a body made of flesh and bone without blood. But that's a whole nother a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. But I personally do not believe that in 2020 that all of a sudden a bunch of us are going to either disappear or a bunch of us are going to become crystals. I believe firmly in 2020 we have a choice to step into multi-dimensional living like we never have done before. It is our choice whether or not we're finally going to fulfill our duties and destinies and assist in raising the vibrational set point of this earth. In 2020, I believe that the sight becomes clear in 2020. I believe the socio and economic structure of the world will undergo some sort of drastic change in 2020. How, I can't exactly precisely tell you. But with the advent and the rapid nature of which technology, as we enter the age of Aquarius, that technology and artificial intelligence is coming to the fore, and people are going to start being like, oh, well, it's okay. Like, I'll just get this robot baby, or I'll just have this robot wife, or whatever, okay? That we are going to need to be able to depend on our spirit and our spiritual knowledge and our awakened life. And more people are going to be becoming awakened or wanting to become awakened. And it's going to be more difficult for them to do so because they did not do it at the time now. Now is easier than later. Trust and believe me when I say that. Hey, MK. Yes, MK, like I did say earlier, it is a choice. And we're being given, there's no more time left to make the choice. And I say that not in to be mean or not to be like alarming or anything like that. But those who are here and listening to me, it's time to decide you're going to go ahead and allow this to happen. And it's time to stop with the playing. I have very little patience for a lot of chat rooms. I go in certain chat rooms and I don't, that's fine. People, that's cool. I have very little patience anymore for frivolity in chat rooms. Especially when I see people in these rooms that I know are highly gifted. And I'm like, what are you doing? Bah! But that's the Capricorn rising in me and the Cancerian in me. And throw a little Aries moon in the mix and then I get on my high horse. So don't mind me. But it's really time for us to stop drinking milk and start eating meat or vegetables if you're a vegan. Hey, Eve. It's time for the indigo children and indigo adults, because now us indigo children that were children, we're now indigo adults. And there's a whole nother generation of indigo children behind us that need us. It's really, 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 really time for us to finally say, hey, look, I'm an indigo. I'm going through an awakening and ascension process. It doesn't end until my life ends. But I'm going to begin to accept all the gifts that are being given and being open to me. Let me tell you something. Just because, so yes, I have mediumship capabilities. I'm going to tell you, if you are truly become awakened and you truly live multidimensionally, you too will be a medium. Yes, repeat questions. Yes, Eve. Thank you. You too be a medium. All of us have some level of intuitiveness. All of us do. If you are an indigo, a star seed, a light worker, an awakened soul, y'all get comfy now. We're going to be here for a hot second. Hey, Sylvia. If that's who you are, beloved, then you, guess what? You have gifts. You have capabilities. You have abilities. You have access to a whole plethora, a whole cornucopia that are available to you. You do. Now, some of us may have a little bit more pronounced than others. Some of us are here to teach others. Some of us are do whatever. But we all have it. And the thing we have to stop being scared of for a lot of indigos, we have to stop being scared of doing, of this is who we are. It's kind of like the X-Men, right? When I started this channel almost 2 years ago now, unbelievable, guys. 2 years. People would call me Professor X. Because I was talking about this 2 years ago. I was talking about this off YouTube longer than that. But we're mutants. And I love it. We're mutants. We are. We have mutated from the standard run-of-the-mill Joe Blow, not woke, still sleep, not awakened, not going through an ascension, not doing any of this human being that just lives in the matrix. We're mutants. There are strands of DNA that we have. Yeah? That when in an awakened person, that strand awakens. It's dormant DNA. Dormant DNA. Why do you think we only use 10% of our brain? The rest of it, as we awaken, we begin to use it. Also, there's a lot of memories kept there. But guess what? The movies, I went to go see Frozen 2. You'll understand what this has to do. Took my grandbabies. Wada, wada, wada. Let me tell you something about Frozen 2. Frozen 2 was teaching these kids about going back to their Akashic records. Hello, somebody. Going back to your Akashic record, people, to learn the truth so that you could become what? The fifth element that ties together wind, fire, earth, and water. The four elemental spirits. This is all in Frozen 2. If you don't believe me, please go see the movie. You'll learn something. Go with it with your third eye open. And she had to go, spoiler alert, they had to go through the enchanted forest to this river, to this place where all of the past was known. Those are your Akashic records. Hello. She had to go back and talk to her ancestors. And then she became this enlightened, right? She stepped into who she really was. Stopped being who she was meant, who the earth told her she was meant to be. Because Elsa and Anna are two sides of the same coin. So the third dimensional Anna was able to handle the third dimensional stuff. And the fifth dimensional Elsa came into her own as well and handled the fifth dimension, but they still remained working together. This is what I'm trying to say to you guys. This is 2020. Can we go back to our past, clean up the karma, come on back here and do our work? Can we finally let go of the past, clean it up, and come on back here and do the work? And what happened once they released the water, the dam of the water, the dam of the spirit, and allowed spirit to flow, everyone lived in unity. The vibrational set point of their little, beautiful world was raised. This is who we are. We have to decide we are going to do this work. We have to decide we are going to be who we were meant to be, who we came here to be, what we came here to do. So my question to all my beautiful indigos and my beautiful starseeds and my beautiful light workers and light warriors are you going to join me in 2020? Learn, grow, learn some more, grow, and help the rest. Are you going to do that? Because I can't do it alone. There are those that are doing it now. We can't do it alone. This is a collective unit. This is a collective effort. And we're teaching our children this and they don't even realize it. But it's speaking to the Indigo kids because, of course, my beautiful granddaughter was like, ooh, that's neat, Grandma. I want to be a fifth element. I want to be the fifth spirit. I'm like, baby, you already are. We have to step into it. This is our year. Now, beloved, I'm going to say this to you as well, though. This ain't going to be easy. This life of a light worker, a starseed, an indigo, an awakened one isn't easy. But can we stop with the milk? Okay? Here at this channel, here on my podcast that's about to be out there, I'm going to be a recording fool. Because I got a lot to say. On the podcast, too, we're going to take you step by step through getting comfortable with who you are in the trueness, learning to walk in that fullness beyond just this standard, okay, you have a ringing of the ears and you're tired and maybe your back hurts. Oh, honey, you're going through that awakening and those are Ascension symptoms and it's all good. That's all what's going on, boo. That's okay. Guess what? That mess is going to happen to you forever in 20 Sundays. If I had a dime for every time my ears rang, I would be so rich. Just stop with all the needing of the milk. And come on, let's eat some vegetables or some meat, whichever one you want. I'm not here to judge you. You can be a vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian. I don't care what, but can we get off the Similac? That's all I'm asking. Thank you, Eve. What if you're already comfortable and accepting, but things have just gone silent? Let me tell you something. Things will go silent from time to time. That's another thing, indigos, star seeds, and light workers and light warriors. Things, sometimes things do go silent. In the silence, you do the last thing that was right. The last right thing. That's something else that was said in the movie. When you don't know what to do and you don't have any direction and there's no voice calling your name, you do the last damn thing you knew to do. You do the last damn thing you knew to do. And keep it stepping. But I guarantee you this, in your silence, that's when you're supposed to be doing your study. So in your silence, get into your meditation bag, get into your study bag, learn about energies. Can we get to some depth about the energies, please? I want to get into some depth. I don't want people to continue to be coming over here trying to say, when am I going to find love? Girl, bye. Boy, bye. We need to be less concerned about where our Venus is and more concerned about where is your Neptune, where is your Uranus, where is your Saturn and your Jupiter. Where does your moon reside? So as the moon is transiting and we understand our emotions and we can tap into the energy that we need at the time, or should I say move with the energetic tides in our month and maximize their effectiveness in our manifestation life. See, these are the things that are meaty. These are the things that are important. I'm not here to just say, okay, look, you know what? Okay, I mean, I will. I will talk about manifestation. I will talk about all these things. But I got to get to a deep point with you all. 2020 is about going deep. It's about diving deep. People are going to be skimming along on the surface on their little jet skis and they, parasails and all of that. And then the wave going to come up and topple their behinds over. It's gonna topple them over because they're not gonna be able to ride the wave because they don't understand the energy that's trying to carry them. Can we stop with the retrogrades and always being so overly concerned about the retrograde and blame it on the retrograde? And can we start using the retrogrades for what they're meant to be used for, which is the redo of whatever we may or may not have done? You get a second chance with the retrograde. What you may have supposed to been learning by this transit, the retrograde brings you right back and says, okay, boo-boo, let's try it one more time. You got one more again. Just make sure it's a good one. 2020 is an intensive, personal, learning, transformative, gift-giving, spiritual ascension and awakening year. Not only is it personal, it is global and socioeconomic. There is an economy of spirit that we are going to need to learn how to operate in. An economy of spirit that we are going to need to learn to operate in. That economy of spirit is the law of attraction / the law of manifestation. That which we desire, that which we set our energy in motion towards, that which our intention creates is what comes to us. There is an economy of spirit that we are meant to operate in 2020 because your physical economy is going to most likely fail you at some level. Now that one was just hot off the presses. I didn't even know I was going to say that. Yes, Eve. I'm not discarding that. I'm not I believe fully in a supreme source, Eve, but I'm going to address something that was said in the chat for those of you watching. Eve has stated that that some say God first, others second, you last. 1, 2, 3, divine power core, whatever you say, it comes first, is there, will have your back, and not a person. I am going to challenge that and say this. Your own personal divinity comes before others. You are divine of the divine. You are eternal. You are an eternal being first that has chosen to come here and have a human experience. I am not greater than the supreme source. However, I did not come here to give up my personal power because my edict, my mandate is to walk in that power and have jurisdiction and dominion over this earth. And when we become light workers and light warriors, as we move into the trueness of being an indigo and trueness of being a star seed, the trueness of being one that's here to help raise the vibrational set point of the earth and humanity and usher the humanity into the age of Aquarius and help free people from the matrix. There is no ego in that. There's no ego in that. When I say these things to empower people, I don't say it so that you can get some spiritual ego. Because this is really a life of servitude. Let's put that out there as well. This is a life of servitude. I don't manifest things just for the sake of manifesting them. Or I don't teach just for the sake of hearing myself and watching myself on YouTube. Or whatever. This is a life of servitude. So there, you become less important as an individual and more so the collective, yet you never lose your individuality. Hey, Shonda, how are you trying? Now, we do not need to be pulling. You guys, please do subscribe to Shonda Rhi's Humanistic Astrology. That is my trine and a very dear friend of mine. And I love you. Taking care of others is one thing, but you cannot put the needs of others before yourself. In this regard, where they're taking advantage of the situation. If we're being hurt, let's talk about that too. I'm not going to be on here much longer, you guys. Can we get to the depth finally? Now we've been talking about we got to get to the depth of how we operate in our gifts. We got to get to the depth of how energy operates. We have to get to the depth of the economy of spirit, the new socio-economic structure. Can we also get to the depth of our healing? I just told y'all about that darn Frozen movie, and they was telling kids to go on back there, get them Akashic records, clear that karma. Matter of fact, Elsa cleared the karma. Elsa and Anna cleared the karma. Hello. Of the grandfather. Now I want you to sit on that for a second. I want you to contemplate this for a second. This is in a child's movie. Elsa and Anna, the granddaughters, had to clear the karmic debt from the grandfather and what he had done to the earth and the tribes. Now let that mess sit for a second. Can we do this in 2020? Can we finally, as indigos and starseeds and light workers and light warriors, recognize we got to go back and clear this karma? Help other people clear even ancestral karma? And what happened? Y'all gonna be like, Lisa, ain't no point in me going to see the movie. That's fine. Elsa, at one point, while she's clearing out the karma and she's going back to the Akashic record, and we're doing all this past life regression stuff. What happens? The song went and said, you can't go too deep in this river, otherwise you will drown. Old girl drowned, right? She was like stuck, dead. She went too deep. She went too deep and disconnected from her third dimensional side, or Anna. You can never go so deep and so high in the spirit that you forget that you still have a third dimensional life. Every morning you still go wake up here as long as you're meant to be here. So you still have a third dimensional life, but 2020 is teaching us to live in a dual existence. Live life in spirit, yet hold space here on earth. I don't know about the Scorpion energy. I'm going to say that this is less Scorpio energy for now. And remember, we started off, I don't know if you were here earlier, Neptune being in Pisces for until 2026. That's more of that depth of past life, past house, past karma energy, I would say, personally. Unless my good friend Shonda has another interpretation. That Piscean energy, that Neptunian Pisces, that's where I'm feeling more of that. Y'all got to go see Frozen 2 before it goes out of theaters. So, 2020, the time for the indigo to awaken. And not only for the ascension and awakening of the indigo, the starseed, the light worker, so on. But it's also time for us to put aside all the simple things and can we get to the depth? Because we're not going to raise there. Let me tell you something else. There's going to be a group of people who you've seen and they've been here and, hey, they ain't growing no further than what they're at. Because honestly, they're comfortable where they're at. They don't really want to get any further than the little bit of awakening than they've gotten because it's too much work. It's hard work clearing your ish. It's hard work. This is not for the faint of heart. This going through this dark night of the soul stuff is just scratching the darn surface. Elsa did the dark night of the soul the first go around. This go around, this clearing this karma stuff, baby, that was harder. This isn't easy work, but it's necessary. Clearing out your crap so you can heal your aura, heal your chakras, so your aura can be in good situation and standing, so people can't sit there and hurt you. See, now we got to get to the deep things, guys. It's deep, but the choice needs to be made between now and the eclipses that are coming up. Because I'm telling you, when that lunar eclipse happens, doors are closed. Thank you, Trine. Doors close. Just like when Moses parted the Red Sea, at some point the Red Sea closed in on itself. There's always a time, a period of time, just like when Noah was building the ark and he was telling everyone for years and years and years and years and years, it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. You better get ready and bear this in mind. Right? Y'all know that song. God showed Noah the rainbow sign. It won't be water, but fire next time. Right? I don't know if y'all remember that gospel song. But he warned for years and years and years and years and years, and at some point it started raining and didn't stop, and then the earth flooded, cleaned everything out. The vibrational set point of the earth was changed. And then humanity started over again. Representatively. These things happen every so often. There is a reset of the vibrational set point. There has to be a clearing out, and then there has to be a reset. I don't believe that, 7 billion people on this earth are going to die. So please do not quote me in saying that. What I'm saying is this, is that as we enter into the age of Aquarius, we, as those that are here now, are meant to help people learn to live from a spiritual standpoint. From spirit first, live life in spirit, those that are willing to do so. And that's why we're here. And that's what I want to help us to attain. That's where we need to get to. That's what we're going to even further teach, is living life in spirit, 2020 is the year of a global collective change and awakening. What's going to happen in the physical realm with governments? I don't necessarily have insight in, and honestly, I haven't asked. But I can tell you that we are not going to see any fewer rebellions, revolts against a governing body that wishes to keep people enslaved in a social or economic way, um, and not allow them the freedom that they were promised or given. So we'll see more Hong Kongs. We'll see potentially something, like in a Venezuela. We'll see more Syrian type uprisings. We'll see many more wars. We may see some sort of uprising right here in our own country. I'm not going to call it necessarily a bloody civil war, but I will say that if certain powers are not careful, things could get really ugly really fast. So we have to be that group that assists in bringing in light, which is wisdom, which is love. We have to be that group. So I do see more of us coming to the forefront and stepping up and stepping into our purpose. Yeah. It's going to get, we'll probably see quite a bit before the end of this year into the full moon. I would expect that by the time we get to March and the retrograde start, the beginning of the astrological season and the spring and the birth, we'll see a lot of new indigo babies, so to speak. A lot more of that coming in, and in the retrograde, bringing in another group of another crop. We have to be ready for the babies. We have to be ready for the babies. Okay, that's what I wanted to come on here tonight to say. You've been with me for an hour. I thank you so very much. We're gonna talk about the solar eclipse that's happening on the 25th/26th of this month in December. That is very significant. That is the new moon, and it is also a solar eclipse. Highly significant in Capricorn. Also on the 19th, the sun does hit the galactic center. We'll do some meditation potentially that day. The sun in Sagittarius hits the galactic center, while Jupiter, Pluto, Capricorn, Saturn, and Venus are still in Capricorn. How crazy significant is that going to be? So we have a lot of major astrological aspects happening. It's going to be a wild ride. It's not going to be an easy one. But if you hold on and you ride with the energy, by the time we're done with this, you will not recognize yourself, because you will be transformed into something brand new. All right, guys. We're going to see each other probably tomorrow night, and we'll talk some more. Please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing, those of you watching the video tonight. I thank you very much for watching and participating. Leave me some comments below. I have created a $1 per month level on Patreon membership. And once the podcasts start, the podcast will come on to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. And then Patreon will get to see the videos first before they're dropped here on YouTube. And I'm telling you, those podcasts, guys, that's where we're going to really go really deep. Hey, Miss Surrey. Hey, Mark. All right, guys, have a great night. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you. Namaste. Bye-bye.